What's up, everybody? Beard Lord is here, and I apologize for my slightly disheveled appearance here. I'm a bit under the weather currently. But I've been making a few vlogs. I actually made a Star Wars Battlefront review, or not review, reaction video. The second game trailer by EA came out, and I wanted to give my thoughts on it. And the response was pretty decent. I mean, not the size of, Walking Dead reactions and vlogs, but I wanted to try something different because now that we're in the downtime season of The Walking Dead, I wanted to try putting out different types of content and such for the channel. So I wanted to see how people like that. As the title of this video probably told you, this is a review of a slightly different series. Now, this series was something I didn't even expect to watch yesterday. I had free time just because I'm trying to recover here, and I ended up watching Stranger Things, and this is a series that a lot of my friends have suggested. It came out, let's see, fall of 2016, and people have been going pretty nuts for this show. I guess it's one of those sleeper hits. Made by, I don't want to say unknown, but these guys, I mean, I looked at their IMDb, and the directors didn't have big hit shows or anything before this, so this is definitely a new acquisition of fame and spotlight for these two directors. The Duff brothers, I believe, are their names. And the show, I just really like the show, and I wanted to I would have given my more immediate reaction to it last night when I finished the final episode of Season 1, but it was a little late, and I was still, really under the weather at that point. I didn't really feel like I had the energy to make it, even though the show itself, that final episode, really energized me, and it was a nice feel-good show. I mean, for anyone, obviously some spoilers in this, but for anyone who doesn't know, the plot of this is basically that it takes place in the 80s, which is really cool because they give an homage to a lot of 80s references. So we're talking music. I heard like Toto Africa, which was really cool. I like that song. There were a couple other 80s hit songs. When the kid Will is lost in the Upside Down, he'll try to communicate with his mother through this one song that he really likes. And they show a flashback where he's with his brother Jonathan, and they're listening to it together, and then they kind of bring that in as context as when he listens to it. Then they make a lot of the kids, the immediate protagonists, I guess, Mike and his friends. They listen, or they don't listen, they watch, and they are invested in a lot of the lore of the 80s. So we're talking, they have like a Star Wars figurines. There's a really cool scene where one of Mike's friends, he wants the girl, the mysterious girl with the powers, Elle, he wants her to levitate a toy model of the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. It's really funny because she doesn't do it for him in that scene, but then later on you see her like levitating it with her mind, just kind of like curiously like, oh, what's this kind of thing? So that was really funny. So yeah, there's Star Wars. They play Dungeons and Dragons at the very. That's how this show starts. The very first scene is them playing Dungeons and Dragons, and that game actually. That's how the first episode starts, and then the final episode of the season, that you kind of resume that game once all the characters are back together. So there's that. What else was there? They made a couple other references. I know I saw in the trailer for Season 2 that they're wearing Ghostbusters uniforms. I don't know if that's for like some Halloween thing or whatever, but again, like, you have to remember that all of this 80s stuff is completely new for them, and I think it's good that they nailed the feel of it almost has like a modern feel to it, but it has 80s references in it, which is nice. They don't go over the top in making it 80s. It doesn't feel like a Back to the Future or Breakfast Club. Like, it doesn't feel like an 80s movie. It feels modern, but it still has a lot of 80s references and things in it, which is really nice. The other feeling I got from this show is, I'm not sure if any of you, I mean, this is for probably my older fans, but there's a kids movie that came out in 2001 called Recess School's Out, and this also was adapted. I think it was either a television show before or after the movie, but it was a television show on Disney Kids afterwards or before. But it's basically about a bunch of kids who are on summer vacation, and the government, and this one individual is trying to do all these science experiments. You figure out he's trying to move the moon with a tractor beam that he puts inside their school, and they have to. It's like the kids become like the superheroes, and they have to go undercover, and it's really interesting. Sorry, you're gonna see me using a tissue every now and then, but I was reminded very much of this film from my childhood. I was like, what, 5 or 6 years old when Recess School's Out came out in 2001. So I was still in grade school. And this series reminded me very much of that. And it almost had like an adult horror twist on it because what is it they call the Gorgon or whatever they call it? That monster. They have a name for it from Dungeons and Dragons and Lord of the Rings. There's a name for what they call the monster that's from the Upside Down that they eventually destroy in the finale. And that adds like a horror twist to it. So some of the very first scenes of the series when Will is taken is from that monster. So I like how the show not only introduces this very spooky, horrific aspect to this show, but it sets the stakes immediately. You know, you have the kid taken, and almost the entire first season is based on finding this kid Will and what happened to him. And is he still alive? Is he dead? There's a part where his corpse shows up in a lake, but then you find out that's a cover-up. Like, there's a really interesting vibe from everything. There's just different vibes from this show. Even the opening theme has this kind of techno, scientific, sci-fi, futuristic tone to it. It reminded me of Deus Ex Human Revolution. I'm not sure if anyone's played that video game, but it's a game where people have augmentations. They have like superpowers because of augmentations, and it's a futuristic world where corporations make money off of augmentations that they give to people. So the soundtrack that they chose, like the orchestral music that was made, not the 80s music, the music that was composed for this show, had like a futuristic sci-fi feeling to it, and that's really cool that they had that mixed in with the 80s references, 80s vibes to it. Then you got the horror vibe to it. It was almost like they mashed a couple of genres together from various shows that have come out recently or even back then, and it really does work well. And I was intrigued. Every episode feels like it's like a season finale. It leaves off on some cliffhanger. It gets you ready for the next episode. I thought the show was incredible. It was funny because when the girl uses her telekinesis powers, sometimes her nose will bleed. And ironically, during the final scene where she's confronting the monster, I actually, because of my cold, I actually had a nosebleed. So it was really weird. I was like, was that psychological, or was that just because of my sickness? Probably just because of my sickness, but I don't know. It was really funny. It would have been cool to do a reaction to that. I thought about it. I thought about doing a reaction, but I mean, that's a Netflix exclusive series. I didn't want to get in trouble for copyright stuff. I kind of know the rules of copyright for The Walking Dead, so that's why I put full episodes of that up. But at the same time, I still sometimes fight copyright on that. So I didn't know about Stranger Things. There were a few scenes where I could have done it, like some of the finale scenes. I think the finale for the season 1 finale for sure. There were some really intense scenes. There were a couple of things that I didn't understand from the show, though. Like some things, like logistically, like again, these are some spoilers for people. I mentioned some spoilers so far, but when the police chief and Will's mom are taken by the Hawkins Energy Company, which is an undercover CIA government company that's using this girl's powers to tap into, you know, what the Russians are doing, and they're using her as like a super weapon for themselves. And when her powers go completely fucking off the grid, that's what makes the tear in the Upside Down. So, you know, she created it, and that's how this monster just keeps roaming around in the immediate area, because it's drawn to this rift, and that's how it keeps getting loose. But one thing I didn't understand is the police chief and the woman who's Will's mother. I didn't understand how they were able to go on the journey that they went on in the finale, because they infiltrate Hawkins Energy Lab for the second time, mind you, and they get captured, and the chief gets beat up and tased a couple of times, but they end up letting him into the Upside Down and the portal, as long as they agree never to speak to anyone about what they were doing at the lab. Like, how would they have enforced that? Like, would they have just gone to him later and tried to kill him? Like, or were they assuming that they would have just died from the monster going? Because there is a scene where they said, like, what if they find the boy and that guy with the white hair, the head of the whole thing, is like, no, they'll probably die. They won't find him. They weren't confident. That was the only thing that I could justify that moment being. Like, otherwise, I was like, well, why would the bad guys, this huge secret government facility that has gone to extreme lengths to cover everything up, you know, putting cotton in the fake Will's body, you know, state owning the quarry, all these things, all these people they've paid off to do. There's a whole bunch of scenes where you see just how shady they are. They cover themselves up as like a home repair company, energy company, and that's not really what they are. It just confused me. I was like, well, how did they get past, you know, well, why would they allow these two citizens, one of them being, I guess, the law enforcement, but why would they allow two citizens to hold their secrets just on the chance that they don't tell anybody? It's just, I don't know. I'm assuming they would have gone back after them. Obviously, all those people they made that deal with, I think, are dead, either by the monster or the girl. So one of those, I think, yeah, because they all died in that hallway in the middle school, which, have fun cleaning that up, by the way. Like, imagine going into school the next day, there's just, like, all these, you know, CIA and fucking special operative guys just dead on the floor, just blood everywhere. Not to mention the monster that got impaled against the chalk. Like, how would you explain any of that to that town? Like, I think because in the aftermath, all you see is Will recovering, and then you have a 1 month later during Christmas, everyone's happy, everyone's together, well, except Barbara, which a lot of people have made fun of, the girl that got killed when she was at the pool at that party and whatnot. It sucks for her because I guess she just couldn't hide effectively, because I guess, you see, the thing is, Will was captured by the monster way before her, the friend was of that girl, Mike's sister. And yet she got captured by the monster pretty quickly. I guess Will was hiding in, like, the upside down version of his, like, fort hut. So he was hiding from the monster the whole time. It was only at the end when the monster captured him, and then, so that was, and then you saw that he had the tube in his mouth. So they got there just in time to stop him from dying from whatever infestation the monster was trying to do. I don't know what they were doing with that whole infestation thing, like putting the thing down their mouth and stuff. And even at the end, you see he coughs it up into the sink like it's still in his system or something. I don't know if that'll give him the ability to see the Upside Down. That was kind of a cliffhanger we were left off on. Like, can he still see the Upside Down world because he had some of the infection from it? Even though he was, you know, cured, went to the hospital, all that stuff, it still seems like it's in his system. I'm not sure if that's what's going to be shown in season 2, but with some speculation there. So yeah, those are those are just some thoughts. This was fantastic for 8 episodes, about 50 minutes long each episode, for a Netflix exclusive show. This was pretty damn good, man. Like, I can see why people like this. Again, I love the blend of the genres. I like how it's all these young kids teaming up, just kind of having fun together. There's some childish humor in there, but then there's the serious moments. It's a great blend because you have, you know, the police chief, which is kind of like the adult figure leading his own private investigation. Then you have the mom kind of slipping into Crazyville, her doing her own version of it. Then you have the kids doing their version. The older sister, Nancy, originally isn't involved, but, you know, her dynamic of how she acts in high school kind of brings her into it as well. It's cool because then by the finale, everyone is together teaming up and what they need to do to, you know, stop this, you know, event, basically. So yeah, good show. I'd say, what would I say? I'd say like 9.75 out of 10, man. This was like near perfection in terms of TV show quality. You know, there were some plot things where, like I said, like I was a little unsure about, just in terms of like the knowledge, like how this town knows about some of these things going on, because it seems like they try to cover it up, but at the same time, by the end of the season, like, how did they cover any of that up? Like the whole world would have fucking known. Like, all the dead bodies in the middle school, the disappearances of, you know, that girl, and everything else that happened. Not to mention that the kid who was harassing Mike, the one who peed himself in the middle school, he saw the girl levitate Mike and break his arm. Like, yeah, a lot of people know about these, paranormal stranger things going on in the town, I suppose, if you want to use the title of the show. So, yeah, so again, good show overall. And I just wanted to do a quick review for it. Maybe if there's time this fall, I'll do reactions. The only thing I would say why I wouldn't do a reaction to Stranger Things is because it airs Halloween of this year, and I am, that's when season 8 of The Walking Dead is going to be in high gear. We're going to be like 2 or 3 episodes into The Walking Dead, and because of how crazy All Out War is from Walking Dead, I'd rather keep the Sunday focus of the channel. Like I have Walking Dead seasons on my channel, which is like the late fall and the mid to late spring. So those are Walking Dead dedicated seasons. This period of time, late spring, summer, into early fall, those are more free-flowing portions of my channel. Sorry, where I could do diverse content for you guys. So that's why I did the Star Wars Battlefront video yesterday. I have more ideas coming, and I always welcome suggestions of any kind. I'm gonna I might film some Walking Dead vlogs today, as long as I'm still feeling okay. But yeah, send me suggestions, send me everything you want. Again, sorry I was blowing my nose a little bit. I'm trying to do this with a cold, but I know that I might be busy in the next coming days, as long as I can get over this sickness. So I wanted to make some of these vlogs while it was still fresh in my mind. The show's still fresh in my mind. I binged this show, by the way, in a day. I watched episodes 1 through 8 pretty much all in a row. So I watched season 1 just completely back to back to back to back. So yeah, I'm good. I'm glad I did it. It was a good experience, and it was good television, man. It was feel good. There were the feel good moments, there were the cute moments, there were the horrific moments. You had just every kind of theme kind of shoved in here, and it worked really well. So yeah, great product. Without reiterating myself too much, I'll sign off, and I'll see you guys for another vlog. Probably a Walking Dead one. I'll try to make something Walking Dead-esque about predictions for the next season. So, alright. Peace out.